Big thanks to Diamond Select Toys for sending this one out early. Check them out in the link in the description down below.
BAM!
Kaiju, Dragon Ball, Pokemon, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hey there, collectors, it's Steven here, and I am bringing you yet another Pacific Rim review. Yes, it is going to be from Uprising, but this is rather neat. Why? Diamond Select Toys has an SDCC exclusive this year, and it is going to be a battle damage Gipsy Avenger. And of course, everyone likes a little bit of variety in their robot collection, so we're going to have a battle damage version of everyone's favorite Jaeger, or at least what they want us to believe. So with this SDCC exclusive being limited in availability, and who knows what's going to happen to the price on the aftermarket, is this one going to be worth picking up? Let's take a look to see whether or not it's worth adding into your collection. Similar to NECA's Series 2 Gipsy Danger, which was also dubbed a battle damage version, this one at first glance isn't really going to seem like it has a lot of battle damage to it. Yeah, there are no hunks missing off of this thing, everything seems to be intact, so what exactly is the battle damage, you may ask? Well, a couple of things. First and foremost, they added several silver streaks across the figure to recreate different slash marks and gash marks to make it look like Gipsy has been through quite a few different battles, and I think it does look rather nice. It's in a few select areas like on the shoulder pads, one across the thigh, that are in key spots to make it look like maybe Hakuja took a swipe at it, or maybe Obsidian Fury got locked in battle with Gipsy, and it does look pretty sweet. Even on one of the shoulder pads, it does look like there are a couple of concussive blows, so it's not just gonna be sword to sword or kaiju horn to sword or whatever it may be combat. Overall, pretty dang slick. Something else that they did rather stealthily is it's not a straightforward repaint of the Gipsy Avenger previously released. It is actually a bit brighter in coloration in some spots, and the blue is slightly more metallic. So for those of you who are a fan of, well, just general better paint schemes, this is gonna be one to keep your eye on. All in all, yes, the battle damage is rather slight, but this is also a good way to get around something that is super different, because if you don't like battle damage stuff, then congrats. You have a different looking Gipsy Avenger that I think actually looks better than the first one, and we'll see that in a minute. Alright, so on this particular release of Gipsy Avenger, I have liked the figure pretty much so far. I think it's great in nearly all departments. However, yeah, this is something that Diamond Select really needs to touch up on Gipsy Avenger, because, I mean, it's pretty difficult to get it to stand up. The knee joints are really loose on mine, and that is a rather serious problem that I think could definitely and should definitely be corrected. But aside from that, we do have some pretty nice articulation. We do have the head, which is attached into the neck on a ball joint, so this way we can get Gipsy to look around, which is pretty good. We do have the shoulder pads on ball joints, which can be removed and flipped if you wanted them to be. So that's good. For the actual shoulders in and of themselves, they are on ball joints, which you can move around, and they do have a hinge as well, so this way we can move them, which also has a swivel, so that's pretty good. Unfortunately, the shoulder does block the articulation a little bit, the shoulder pads, but if they do block it too much, they will just simply pop off, which is better than them breaking. So that's a feature for pretty much all Gipsy Avenger figures and a lot of figures that have shoulder pads, so that's not something to knock against the figure. We do have a single hinge elbow here, but that's because a lot of the swappable parts are going to just have a single hinge as well, so, you know, reduce complexity there. We do have swivels and hinges for the wrists, so that's good. We do have a ball jointed ab crunch, which seems a little looser than the previous release, which is good because on mine it's super tight if I remember correctly, and it's very hard to move, so it's good to see that there's some actual give here. I really do like that. For the hips, we're going to have a swivel, so this way we can move forward and back. We're going to have a hinge so we can move like this, in and out. And then we're also going to have a swivel where that hinge plugs into the thigh. So this way we're going to have a nice range of movement here at the hips. For the knees, it's going to be a double hinge system, but the knees are rather loose on this particular figure. They're rather wobbly, and that does cause some stability issues. Support stand may help, but not necessarily the kind that's going to go on the feet. I think you're going to need a full-on Tamashii stage axe support stand to help out there. But when you have them straight up like this, yeah, it'll be fine. But slight movement, and then it topples over. For the ankles, we do have a swivel and a hinge. So this way you can turn the feet around, and then a little teensy bit of an ankle rocker movement is also possible. So aside from those rather loose knees, Gipsy's articulation, it's pretty rock solid. I think for the Diamond Select Jaegers, there was an option to swap better range of movement for them looking better for the price tag. And I do have to say that overall for the use of the joints, well, I think we have a nice balance. Pretty good. Time to take a look at the accessories, and this one is going to be coming with what the slim version packaging, or whatever they're technically calling it, came with. And that is going to be the chainsaw that Obsidian Fury came with, and the plasma caster. So this way you're going to have a weapon for the left arm and the right arm, and this is indeed found in the slim version and in the deluxe version as well. So you already pretty much know how these work. You just swap out the different arms at the elbow and pop them in the corresponding new weapons. Now, since this is just going to be a repaint of the general body, if you do have the deluxe version, you can go ahead and use those weapons as well. So all in all, while this is definitely neat, and I do understand that they went with the most financially feasible version of this figure, I think they should have at least thrown in some fists, because that's always important. Yep. That pretty much just would have made it perfect. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and move on to the size comparison so you can see how big Gipsy Avenger is, if for some reason you don't know how big DST's Gipsy is. So, yep, that's pretty quick. Now, like I mentioned before, they did a change to the overall paint scheme to the original release, so let's go ahead and see that side by side with this one, where you can definitely see, yep, this one, even without the battle damage, actually looks a bit better. So, buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. First and foremost, I changed something up on this figure during the first section where we were taking a closer look at it, and if you knew what that was, comment down below with hashtag StevenScrewUp and let me know what you think it is that I changed. At any rate, the figure overall does look very nice, but the little looseness in the knees, in the articulation, that definitely holds the figure back, because even a support stand is going to have a difficult time holding this up in some poses. However, it does look nice, it's a neat exclusive, and to be honest, you can pretty much keep this in package, and it will still look cool up on the shelf. Overall, this is definitely going to be not something that is on the must-have list unless you are a diehard collector, and I do have to say, even then, this is worth the upgrade. I kind of feel like getting rid of my first one. This looks nicer. Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now you've heard a lot from me, I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand-selected for you, so if you want to watch another SDR video, I hand-selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.